Hello, and welcome back to the Guiding Keys podcast. This is Master Latrix, and I'm joined by Dalin, Finn, and Iron Clark as usual. And we also have another guest with us today, Bio-Roxas. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, hi. My name is Bio-Roxas. I do a lot of breakdowns on character animation, more recently psychology breakdowns. Sometimes I have breakdowns of my own, so get a little bit of everything. Thanks for having me.
And naturally, our topic today is going to be about donuts because, man,
God,
you guys.
I've been bamboozled. I was told we were going to talk about psychology, not donuts.
Here's our 2-hour PowerPoint preview of why glazed donuts are the best.
We're gonna tie Bio down and we're gonna force him to eat an entire box of glazed donuts.
Oh my god, dude! I looked back. I don't know if you guys know Lunar Lux. We kind of came up at the same time, and we traced it back to just like randomly. He was like, "Man, I really love like apple cinnamon donuts," and I was just like, "Fuck you, right?" Oh, can I? Sorry. But I was just like, "No, shut up." Plain donuts are the best, and then like it's just snowballed to whatever this is.
It's your brand now. It's psychology, breakdowns, and donuts.
Right? Yeah. It's so funny how things end up.
Two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when are we gonna get the psychology of donuts? And like,
see, that one's gonna take a while.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe in the next 5 years or so. We'll see.
What your favorite donut says about your Keyblade capability.
Yeah, exactly.
I did do a video. Oh shit! What was it? It was a video on what each like Kingdom Hearts character, what kind of donut they would like. It didn't get much traction, but it was fun to make.
Those are always the fun ones to make. And
I love the
yourself.
what your favorite Keyblade says about you.
God, yeah, those videos actually lately have been like really. I keep getting comments on them lately. I'm like, what happened? Algorithm, please stop! It's scaring me.
No, those just make me laugh.
They're funny.
No, I was thinking we should do like a almost like a donut zodiac, like what your favorite donut says about your personality.
Oh man, yeah, that'd be funny. I don't know if I feel like maybe I did do that. I don't know. There was a time where I made too many videos, and now I've slowed down.
Well, you got to focus on the psychology videos, and they take so. You
or my family, you know.
No.
Specifically,
Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy. That's what. Yeah.
There we go.
What's a life?
In this heat? Nah, who can afford it?
Nah.
All right.
I play 14. I don't have a life.
Don't say that.
Oh no.
You're gonna lose me.
Oh no.
We're talking about 14.
Well, it's already going to be.
I would love to talk about 14, but hey, I am the newbiest noob. Oh, I am not. I'm just now getting into Heaven's Word.
Oh, you're in for a time. Heaven's Word.
I'm enjoying it so far.
All right, that's good. Yeah, honestly, people say that like A Realm Reborn is really dumb or like really slow, and it's like, no, it's just like when you look back, everything else kind of pales in comparison to some of the future expansions. But like, it starts off really good.
Yeah, like
in my opinion.
I thought A Realm Reborn was a very slow start, but the story did genuinely have me like wrapped in. That's why I beat it in a week.
Holy shit! Really? Oh my god!
I sat down for a week straight and I grinded sunrise to sundown to get it beat, so I could get the Final Fantasy 16 outfit.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, I think A Realm Reborn took me like a year and a half to beat.
Jesus.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it took a long time. I took a lot of breaks. It wasn't like I was like playing every day. And then I think Heaven's Word took me about like 3 months, I think. Because again, I was like playing it a little bit, but just kind of like off and on. Stormblood took me about a month, and then Shadowbringers took me a week. And then Endwalker took me like the weekend.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I really binged that.
You see the process of an addiction here.
Oh my god, for real. Actually, it's a problem. I'm getting help. No worries.
All right. Well, before we derail ourselves too far down the 14 rabbit hole, let's go back to Kingdom Hearts.
Mind you, I did warn Bio that we will get off track. However, I did think we would at least make it 1 minute into the recording before we did. I was wrong.
No.
Check your bingo. Your bio bingo.
It's a new
bingo
record,
run.
actually.
Yeah, has he mentioned donuts yet? Has he mentioned?
All right.
Oh my god.
Well, so we kind of wanted to follow up on the episode that we did where we started to break down Riku, but we decided to kind of take this in a little bit of a different direction where we kind of want to just talk about character development, character growth, and character psychology more as a whole. And since you've been doing all of your psychology breakdowns, we kind of figured bringing you on would be a great way to kind of get an insight on how you do the character breakdowns, how you psychoanalyze these Kingdom Hearts characters.
Yeah. Okay, let me make something up in my head real quick.
Understood.
Just kidding. Yeah. Do you want to jump off from there? Do you have like a specific question?
You think we prepared for this? We're the most scuffed podcast.
Well, I guess just kind of just to start, just like, why did you want to dive deep into the psychology of Kingdom Hearts characters?
I don't know, honestly. As far back as I can remember, like 3 or 4 years now, I remember just like always being so fascinated by how people talked about Sora in particular. Because people would be like, oh, I love this like ball of sunshine. He's my little sunshine boy. He's so happy, and he always like gets me, like he makes me feel better. And I just remember thinking like, did we play the same game? I was like, yeah, it's and like maybe not even like depressed, but like just like there's definitely times where like Sora is not like super happy, and so it just always felt like a very odd contrast for me to always see people just say like, oh, he's always happy, like he's never, like I've never seen him sad before. And I just was very confused by that because to me at least it seemed very apparent that like, you know, as like with Kingdom Hearts 1 there was like some weird, like definitely, you know, he doesn't feel great but he's hiding it kind of like moments, and so I've always wanted to do it. And then let me think. I think
then the Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer with him screaming out.
Yeah, right.
Really win.
I was like, oh boy. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3 definitely like solidified that feeling of like, oh yeah, he's not okay.
Yeah.
And it's not like, and I think one of the things that I wish I could have hit on a little bit more was that like it's not a bad thing. That Sora wants to protect his friends or to be happy for his friends. I think that the danger comes from when he feels like he has to do that every time. And so, yeah. Anyways, Thought Bubble was a friend. I don't know if you guys know Thought Bubble, but he reached out because I was like streaming. I think I was streaming like Psychonauts. I don't know if you guys know that game, but it's like a psychology, like brain kind of thing. And he loves Psychonauts, and so he was watching it, and I just casually mentioned like, oh yeah, like I've always wanted to like talk about Sora psychology, and he was like, bet, let's do it. And so he's actually a huge reason why it actually even got done. I think we worked on it for like a year.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like we took a long time to just like dive into Sora, and then like it was a very much like back burner item, so we, you know,
chipped away at it as time went on.
Yeah, exactly. Like we'd kind of get together every like month or so and talk through things, and yeah. So
Sora was always the first one that you really
I didn't do. In the back of my mind I was like, oh man, it'd be great to like do a series of this, but like I don't really know if I could do this for other Kingdom Hearts characters. And then seeing the response to it, I was like, oh yeah, no, I definitely want to do more of this, especially just like the amount of comments that I've gotten on the video of like, wow, like I've always loved Sora, I never knew why.
Yeah.
And like just this, like having the words to like what I've felt or what I've experienced is like life changing. Well, not life changing. I don't want to put myself on that, but like just like being able to be a small part of like helping someone get that insight. I was like, yep, I'm gonna keep doing this.
I thought of something. I don't remember if you brought this up in your Psychology of Sora video, so apologies if it's redundant.
No.
But, you were talking about like Sora always, forcing himself to be happy for everybody else. I know you've mentioned that. And I can almost trace back the exact moment, because you said like going back as far back as Kingdom Hearts 1. And I feel like I can almost trace back the exact moment where that mentality started. And it was when he met Donald and Goofy, and they were getting on the gummy ship, and they were saying this ship runs on happy faces.
Exactly, yep.
I remember,
Yep.
He's forcing himself to smile. And I'm wondering if that kind of instilled into him, like, I have to always be positive in the face of whatever I'm confronting.
Yeah.
I can't remember if you brought that up in your video or not, so I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, you're fine. I don't ever expect people to like remember word for word, or like it's a video and like a stream of like content that everybody watches, right? Like yeah, definitely it's like, interesting. Like, cool. That's such a intense thing to put on somebody, of like not even like it. I'm sure, like, right, like Donald didn't mean that, and I don't think the developers were like, "Oh yeah, this is gonna be super deep," right? But just like following that through line of like, we gotta be happy, gotta have that smiling face. It's like,
when you really think about it, when you really think about it, like they come from they come from Disney. Disney's always been like the happy-go-lucky. Sometimes, especially with the older stuff, there's a lot of more serious undertones, but like with the main Disney cast, it's always been like happy-go-lucky. Pete was like their worst enemy, and really he was a nuisance at worst. So for them, it's not like they're seeing all these big problems, like take example like Sora in Kingdom Hearts 1 and Hollow Bastion after the fight with Ansem, when he unalives himself to save Kairi. Do you think that in their minds they would have expected something that drastic from a kid?
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
Yeah, I don't really.
I'm not good at this. Like,
no, you're fine.
Sorry, I ramble sometimes.
No.
So, coming from like a kiddie kind of world like Disney, do you think that Donald and Goofy would have expected to go on like such a like serious mission where serious things can happen?
I mean, like we see, like they definitely have experience with like dark things. And they obviously like know that there's going to be bad things that happen, because like
we know that they've experienced Union Cross, that they've
Union Cross, but I mean then like even in Kingdom Hearts 2, right? Like Donald Goofy gets like chucked in the head with that rock, or
then
like the severity and the choice for Donald to like cast Zeta Flare, and like Goofy knowing what that entails, right? Like so they definitely have like a capacity or like an understanding of, I don't know.
Yeah,
like
the stakes of what's going on. Yeah. Well, and I think even then, Finn, because I mean, in the very beginning of Kingdom Hearts 1, I mean, the stars are literally going out. They know worlds are disappearing from existence. Like, I think they already understand what's at stake.
Yeah.
Maybe I was just looking at it the wrong way. I'm not sure.
No, I don't think so. I think there's a very interesting way that Kingdom Hearts. Sorry, excuse my mic. Way that Kingdom Hearts handles emotions and like serious topics, because you're right. Like it's a Disney game, right? There's fun, colorful characters on screen. And I think that the way that Kingdom Hearts broaches a lot of topics like grief and loss and identity in the Sea Salt Trio, and how like they use such simple concepts, right? Like who's ice cream, right? But it's like this whole thing is like very, very much surrounding like friendship and meaningful connections, right? And so like the simple answer is like, oh, they just like ice cream. But then like the deeper answer is like, these are friends that all know that this can't last, right? And so they're trying to form these connections despite them being pulled like apart and coming back together again. And so like,
and a lot of them not understanding what these connections mean, especially Shion and Roxas, because they don't have memories to draw upon. And they suffer from the clone syndrome of, am I me or am I just Sora?
But with like Disney characters, I feel like they're able to kind of like, they still use them in a way to touch on deeper topics, but not in.
I think that's one of the reasons Kingdom Hearts works so well, is because it takes these serious topics in a not like in a way that you wouldn't really expect. With with Donald Duck and all that, and but it makes it work really well, and I think that's part of the reason why people love it so much, is because it's how well that's handled in.
It's unapologetically like real, like I think in a sea, especially in like early 2000s, when not even thousands, but like 2010 to 2020, like there was a very much an aversion to like I don't know, like genuineness.
It takes itself seriously.
Yeah, and so like I think Kingdom Hearts never shied away from that throughout all of its development, and so like you have this series that's just unapologetically real, and I think people resonate with that a lot.
Yeah.
Like I'll say one of my favorite things.
Sorry.
I was gonna say sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. One of my favorite things about Kingdom Hearts is just that like it's not afraid to take itself seriously, and of course that means so many people think it's ridiculous. But I kind of think that's almost part of the charm of it. Is it's like, so many games, movies, just media in general, it's like so afraid of like how will audiences react to this. We can't make it seem like we're taking something silly too seriously, or else we'll get made fun of. We'll be, our ratings will drop.
And look back at I was going to use the example like Sonic, right? Like they're just now getting to a point where they're being just unapologetically Sonic again, and it's like it's like a renaissance of Sonic right now, right? Like it's so freaking cool to see Shadow like just like being a badass and a main character again. And like
with
to see
big old demon wings, it's like
right? It's like holy shit, we're so back, right?
Yeah,
but like for a time in the 2010s to the 2020s, right? There was that time where like Sonic, even like the original Sonic team was just like kind of like, haha, we're so silly, like it's stupid, but like we all love it kind of thing. It's like they didn't want to take themselves seriously, right? And I think that really hurt them for a while, because they didn't know they were trying too much to appeal to their fans, right? Which was like, oh, let's be ironic, right? Like let's not like be real. But then you start seeing them take these steps with like Sonic Frontiers and some of their like even like their Netflix shows, where they were pushing into that a little bit more, and it was a little bit more genuine. Now we have
like
Sonic.
It's like the same thing with before the MCU, we had all the superhero movies were so afraid of the costumes and saying their hero names. It's just all the the tongue-in-cheek references to that. It's like, just embrace yourself. Embrace the identity of the franchise you're wanting to adapt. Like and then go. Like, yes, we have a a kid traveling with Donald and Goofy with a giant key weapon, but he's also like looking for his friends and believing he is honestly worthless without them, even with the evidence that he has grown as a hero and as himself throughout the entire franchise. And he's always second guesses himself and chooses to sacrifice himself first and foremost, doesn't even question it in order to save somebody else. It's
that thinking of like, I'm important, or I'm something because I'm helping other people. And I think a lot of people fall into that a lot of like, I am building myself up, but I'm building up my identity and who I think of myself by what I do for others or by what others think about me, right? And so like, of course, like if you lose all your friends, and you are, alone, you're like, what do I do? Who am I? Right.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a great, what's the word? Not like parallel, but a great vision of that when Sora's in the final world, right? Like he's literally deconstructed.
Yeah.
And so like it's so interesting.
I think one of my favorite things about Sora as a character is actually that he's not special, in the sense that it's like he wasn't chosen by the Keyblade. He's not this, destined for greatness kid. He's just our regular kid. He happened upon this because, the Keyblade.
Riku fell, right? Like
because the Keyblade wanted Riku as its chosen one, but Riku fell to darkness, and so it picked up the next best thing it could find, which was Sora. But that's kind of what I love about him, because he's not this chosen one figure. He's a normal person. He has flaws.
He's a dull, ordinary boy who beat up the big bad because he wanted to save his friends and he had the tools to do so.
Right.
Dull, ordinary boy who beats up the elderly.
Beats up the elderly.
As one does.
I do find it immensely funny that the main villain of this series is like an old man, just because so many like anime tropes is like, okay, we gotta have like the young kid, and then it's like, the antagonist is often like around their same age, or they at least look young, but then it's just like, no, we've just got this like 80-year-old dude.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you really think about it, Sora has always gone up against people older than him, because for one, yes, Riku is just a year older, but Ansem, he's, biologically 20-something, maybe pushing 30s? Huh? I don't know, math.
Who? Carlos Ansem?
Ansem. Yeah. Secret Darkness. Yeah.
Not Diz.
No. Diz, he's at least pushing 104.
Gotta be.
He's at least 104. But no, and then of course Xemnas would be around the same age. Marluxia canonically is like 4 billion years old, but he's obviously much older. And then he's just a kid fighting against the adults in a room who think they know better. And
I guess I don't know. I just find it funny just because it's it's such an anime trope of we got to keep the characters young, and then it's just like, here's Xehanort, here's like the second one of, maybe not the second most important character in the series, but you know what I mean, the main villain.
Yeah.
And he's like 80 something years old, maybe even older. We don't really know how old he is.
Someone's got to do the math for one day. It will not be me right now. But yeah.
Forever young, except when Sora has to go to Tokyo and pay rent and bills.
Oh yeah.
That's the next arc, right? We finished the Secret of Darkness saga, so now we have to shift into a new arc.
Right. I can't wait for the Starbucks minigame.
That was what the cooking minigame in 3 was preparing us for.
Yeah,
it's just a barista.
So it's like, what do you mean I have to carry a card? I just like sucked up the money back home. Like, what do you mean? I just now I have a question for you. I've always in my brain separated Roxas and Sora as Sora's the Disney character and Roxas is the Final Fantasy character. What's your opinion on that one?
Interesting. I never thought about it like that. I think kind of doing a character study on both, they both feel pretty like I don't know. Sora doesn't feel like a Disney character to me. Like obviously, like he has the outside like surface level. Like when you see him, you're like, oh, Disney. But I think diving into both, like they both really struggle with identity, just in different ways, right? Like Sora is very much like, oh, like I need my friends to like feel like I have an identity, and Roxas is like, I literally don't know who I am. So it's like, I don't know. Yeah, that would be my take. Is they both just have a identity piece. But it is interesting. I never thought about it like that.
Yeah. Well, you know, you were talking about earlier, like Roxas and Xion, the Sea Salt Trio, and like Ice Cream kind of representing their friendship. I saw somebody made a really interesting point. I can't remember who it was, so I can't. I'm sorry if this was your.
It was Bob. It was Bob.
Whoever said this, credit to you, but I can't remember who it was. I apologize. But it was something along the lines of like the reason why Roxas at the end of Days, when Xion's dying, is like, who else will I have ice cream with? Like, people laugh at that line. But to Roxas, he doesn't really know what friendship is. To him, friendship is people who eat ice cream together.
Yeah. I mean,
so,
I think that was Bio in the psychology. I think it was Bio who said that, actually.
I don't think that was a new thought, though. I think people have thought that for a long time.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it is really like, it's very indicative of like, this is a very simple concept of ice cream, but the writers are using this as a way to show something deeper. So on the surface, it's like, haha, ice cream, what a loser. But it's literally like, oh, this is what he sees as friendship, as like a connection. I love that. Yeah, it's so good.
And then it plays into when Diz sticks him in the simulated Twilight Town. That feeling of this is what friendship is. Sitting on top of the clock tower with the Twilight Town gang, it continued forward. And
I like. There's a lot of similarities that I never really like picked up on until I started looking through Roxas as a character. But there's a really interesting parallel where Axel talks a lot about like we don't know how long we'll be here. We don't know, like we need to make every moment last. And I think it's Hayner who says something very similar. And so it's almost like in Kingdom Hearts 2, the opening, it kind of like hits a lot of the same story beats that Days does over its game. And I just like I love shit like that. It's so cool.
Yeah. One thing that I do love about Kingdom Hearts as a whole is that you could just, very cursory, just play the games, enjoy them, be like, yeah, that story was good. And then you could go back, and then you can delve deeper into them. And then you realize, oh, this was set up here. And then it started breaking down, and you start seeing the, I'm taking a term for a friend of mine, but you start seeing the threads of the universe, like, connect. And, and then we're just sitting here in this big board with red lines going everywhere, and then a big question mark over your Sora, and we're going nuts. But
I'm sorry, Clark. Are you talking about red threads connecting the universe? I think you saw that.
I'm deleting it. No, delete it. I'm deleting it. Server deafened. There we go. All right.
No, but that's part of the reason why, like, I love the that's part of the reason I love the Lushu reveal, the Zigbar Lushu reveal so much, because you can just look back at all of his other appearances in the series and say, like, wow, that makes a lot of sense now.
There's what is it? There is a character bio on Kingdom Hearts 2, I think. One of the games where it literally is like, this guy's weird. He has like ulterior motives. There's like something deeper. And then you like, you look at that and you're like, huh, that's weird. And then you finish Kingdom Hearts 3 and you're like, wait a second.
It really,
right here.
Oh, here it is. Second entry here from Kingdom Hearts 2. I know how to read, I promise you. Organization 13's number 2. When Sora called out to him thinking he was Riku, Zigbar gave a curt reply. His motives and methods remain unclear. Surely he has a greater goal in mind.
Yeah, that
Could
is
it be?
like, huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really makes me wonder, like how far in advance has Nomura thought out Zigbar? It's like has he
I
gone
don't
up
know
this
if he knew
far?
that
Has he?
far.
You know,
I think
not-
he knew he wanted to use him for something.
something. Yeah.
Exactly.
Probably not
Yeah, that's
specifically
what I
Mushu,
Nomura
but like
does
this
really
guy's
well.
probably going to be really important in the future, and he's gonna have
Mhm.
some kind of connection. So I'm going to set up a little bit, but then we'll get to
Yeah.
specifics later.
Something I love that like how Nomura or whoever writes the stories is the way that they like leave in hooks where it's very like very subtle. It's very like you don't really know exactly what they want, and like looking at it in a vacuum, it's like okay, they're just saying it's something weird. But then the way that they write future games recontextualizes those initial moments, and I think that's so
Absolutely.
incredibly smart.
Yeah. One thing a lot of people will say is like, wow, Nomura must have had like everything planned out from the beginning. And I've never really subscribed to that idea. I think Nomura, he just kind of lays the seeds of like, okay, I want to do something with this guy later, so I'm going to mention something.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
he doesn't quite know what yet, but he's like, all right, Zigbar's going to be important for something later. We'll
Like,
get to that
have, like,
when we
a-
get to that.
Yeah, have like a little bit
as-
of an outline or a foundation for it until you get to the specifics.
And to
Yeah.
like bring in like a little bit of psychology, like our brains really don't like unanswered things, right? Like if we have a loose thread, our brain does not just look at that and be like, oh, that's okay, whatever, right? Like if someone like, right, we've all like talked to somebody and they've made like some like random comment, right? And then our brain is like, what do they mean by that, right? And then we have to like dive into that. And so our brain really doesn't like loose ends. And so storytellers, right, will leave something up in the air, and people will create meaning out of that or connect it to other things. And so, yeah, it's fascinating.
Well, and I think part of that too is just to keep an audience engaged. It's like, okay, if I create a mystery, then if I leave a loose end intentionally, it's going to get more people talking about it. It's going to get more people going, where is this going? I mean, so many people are still trying to figure out who the hell Yozora is, despite the fact that we have basically zero evidence to suggest any identity for the character. But,
He's Noctis.
well, I mean, aside from the obvious,
Just kidding.
Okay, he's a Noctis knockoff.
So Noctis
maybe.
first.
He's either a Noctis knockoff or he's the original Noctis reincarnated. Who knows?
Has
But
seen Renata stuff.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, we talked about
yeah.
that. Yeah.
I'm really excited for that.
I
Yeah.
honestly,
need to drop a demo.
when I first saw the gameplay for it, I was kind of like iffy. Like, I don't know if this is going to be good or not. But then I've heard people who got to play early like builds say like, no, it is really good. And I'm like, now I'm excited.
Oh yeah, but it's a Japan exclusive demo.
Yeah.
I think.
You can make a like I have a
that's true.
Switch Japan account, and I can play
Yeah.
I think I play Persona 5 Scramble early because they released like a JP only demo.
You're
that
out
was
here
back in the day
sneaking
when
in
I
there.
was. Yeah. So that's what people do to get early access.
That game took like a year and a half to come out over here.
Oh yeah, no, by the time it came out, I had lost all interest. I was like, next thing.
I have the game. I just never finished the first
Dave.
dungeon.
Yeah, I bought it on release and then I just never continued it. Games came out too fast for the past like year and a half. I'm so glad. Like, I don't like this. I don't like the circumstances, but I am glad that things are slowing down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I said. So I'm so glad because last year it was just like banger game after banger game. It's like, look, I need a year to catch up. I need a year to like recoup. And then Nintendo came around and went, "Oh, hold these!" I'm like, you son of a bitch.
That was probably the funniest turnaround for a Nintendo Direct ever, though. It was like everybody was like, all right, we're at the end of the Switch's life. Nothing's going to happen. And then it was like, here's a new Zelda. Here's a new Zelda. Here's a new Mario and Luigi. Here's Metroid Prime 4.
I was screaming. I was at work, so I couldn't scream, but internally I was screaming.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit. Dude, I don't know if you guys played Prime growing up or like played the series, but holy shit, Prime was the shit. It was awesome.
I had the first Prime for the GameCube, and I am notoriously bad at video games. I didn't really get past the queen in the beginning, so I never really finished. But I always did have a love for Samus and Metroid just in general. Like in my brain, I always held Samus as one of the big three, excluding Pokemon. Pokemon was like a different entity in my brain, but I always looked at Link, Mario, and Samus. Those were the big three in my head. So I always had a respect for it, and the fact that honestly, here recently, the Metroid fans have been eating good with Dread and Ford.
God, Dread fucking rocked.
Oh yeah,
I've played Dread like 2 or 3 times. Like, so good.
Yeah, I have Prime Remastered. I haven't finished it yet. I'm at mostly at the beginning. But I did 100% Dread, and I love that game so much.
So good. It feels so good.
I'm very excited for Prime 4 because
I can't wait.
If Dread was any indication of how good Metroid's gonna be, give me more.
I think the 2 definitely have different game feels, because Prime is more of like an exploratory, like dungeon crawler almost, like it feels like, whereas like I feel like almost I don't even know what to call them, like that like 2D style is like more so on like collectibles and like backtracking. It's I love both of them, but I think I enjoy the 2D side scrollers more.
Yeah, I mean, I generally just kind of prefer other gameplay styles to first-person shooters. Not that I don't like FPS, but I think I kind of more prefer the side scroller, but I'm not that far into Prime yet, so we'll see.
I think the breadth of Prime is just really, really incredible. It's a huge game for like a GameCube era title. Like it was groundbreaking.
I'm always like so impressed by like how well a lot of like older games like that stand up.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
Violin was doing like a subathon recently, and he was doing all retro games, and some of them I'm like, wow, these look really good for PS1 games.
Yeah. Oh man. I guess I wanted to go back to the psychology topic.
Yeah, right. Let's talk about it.
I told you.
Let's talk about why we're podcast.
This is how it is. This is how it is. But
I'm a yapper.
So
I'm trying to think.
I just want to. While Latrix is thinking, whenever y'all were talking about loose threads, one thing immediately popped into my head, and that was the secret movies at the end of the games.
Ooh,
because, like looking at KH1, where it's like the scene with Roxas versus Riku, we didn't know anything about it at that time, and it was like, who are these people? What is this landscape? We've never seen anything like this in Kingdom Hearts before. What's going on? I feel like that's one of like the big factors that kept people coming back, especially for 2, because I heard a lot of people skip.
Like I don't think even Nomura knew what he wanted to do with Kingdom Hearts 2 before. Where like I feel like he made that scene in The World That Never Was for Roxas dual wielding, and then was just like, what do I do with this now?
Yeah.
It's like, it looks cool, and now I have to fit all the pieces together to make sure this like lines up. Same, like, and that's one thing I think that like Kingdom Hearts might do to a detriment, is they try really hard to connect every single thread. Right, with Mickey Mouse, right, in 0.2.
Sure.
And the shirt. It's like, okay, did you have to do that? Like, did we really need to know that like he got hit by darkness and that like destroyed his clothes? So that's why he appeared like that.
It was important to psychology.
Yeah, right. Of course. Yeah.
I enjoy it just because it's funny to see. Like,
it's cool. I think sometimes it just like,
because it's ridiculous. I think it adds a little bit, but maybe that's just me.
Yeah, I don't think it's a terrible thing. I just think sometimes it's like, did we need to spend all that time to not all the time, I guess, because it didn't really take too much time. But
well, hey, now we know that demon towers can both act as tailors and barbers because they both took Mickey's shirt and gave Riku a haircut.
Did they ever was it just like he got hit by darkness and he got a haircut?
He got sucked into a demon tower, and then when it spit him out, his hair was short.
I believe so. I remember seeing.
There's that theory about him dropping, right? Because that does make like the drop sound effect, and he kind of goes to like a shorter hairstyle.
I remember seeing there's someone on Twitter that they say they worked on KH3, and they said that the longer hair Riku model isn't even technically supposed to be in the game. It was supposed to end up getting removed after that point, but they just never removed it. They just updated it in that scene.
Interesting.
But
so
it's almost just a random coincidence.
Do you know what like developer that was?
They have a Twitter. I think. Let me try and find it really quick.
I never talked about it because I didn't see a need to. It did feel like my place too.
Their ad is literally Gummy Phone. Just at Gummy Phone. They had like a thread of like. Oh yeah, their pinned post is a thread of like facts from when they worked on the game. I think.
That's pretty cool though. I'll have to check that.
I worked on KH3, so this username belongs to me. Crap. Do they have like a? It's the stat.
Okay, I can
have
read
like
I
mean, that'd be cool if it is.
This Riku hair, it was a bug waved by the team, meaning it ended up in the shipped game. In these scenes on the beach, you see Riku has longer hair, and then after the battle with the Heartless, he wakes up on the beach with short hair. My teammates and I joked that either 1, Mickey Mouse gave Riku a haircut when he was unconscious as a little prank. 2, the Heartless didn't like Riku's bangs
Interesting.
Yeah.
Main auto likes Kate.
Since the game came out, people have said it's symbolic, and I've actually gotten harassed by fans over it. What? That's not okay. No, dude, they accidentally left the E3 2015 model and player icon in one of the first few battles along with the cutscene preceding it. But it was waived due to time constraints.
Interesting. I do wonder how much content was cut for time constraints, because we know at one point Mysterious Tower was going to be a world.
Yeah. No, there's been so much that was cut. I can imagine.
Imagine how much greater it could have been if we had maybe another year of development. I mean, granted, the release for Kingdom Hearts 3 is something really special for me, and I don't know if that would have been any different if we had to wait. But just imagine all of the stuff we could have explored if it had gotten that full time in the oven, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think with any game, you're never gonna have enough time to do everything.
Yeah,
that's true.
Because you don't want to feature creep and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is so. I'm
Anyway. The question I was gonna ask was because we kind of touched on how you look at these characters, but you had said something before we started recording, and I kind of wanted to.
What did I say? I forgot.
Well, it was about how you don't want people to think that your interpretation's the only one.
Yeah. Yeah, whenever I make these breakdowns, I never want to be I don't know. I never want it to come off as I know everything, right? I'm the leading, I don't know, expert on this, so take everything I say as fact, right? I never want to be like that. So with the psychology breakdowns, I really hope people don't take it as oh, this is the definitive character analysis of Sora, right? I'd much rather it be used as a conversation starter. There's so many great comments and different viewpoints that people leave on the video of like, oh, that's really cool, but like this is how I see it, or like this is my interpretation. And I think that really comes out with my Riku video. Because like I think a lot of people have different viewpoints on like who Riku is and how does he identify, and what is his relationship with Sora. And when I made that video, I really wanted to be careful on how I portrayed that, and also that like my video wasn't like the definitive portrayal of who Riku was. There's another person, Tanel Flowers, that did a great analysis on Riku. It's like, is Riku gay or Riku is gay? Video. It's like 5 hours.
I was gonna say, is that like the 4-hour like Riku is gay analysis video?
It's and it's really really well thought out. And I talked to them, and I talked to Nikutsune when I was making the Riku video, not because like I wanted to talk to them because I wanted to make sure that my video wasn't coming out as like, this is who Riku is, because I really didn't want it to be used as like ammunition.
Right.
I think that's like my whole focus for these videos, is like, I don't want this to be like the definitive character analysis on who this character is, right? I want it to be used as like supplemental or like a conversation starter.
Yeah, no, I get you. I mean, like, I'll say, like, I don't see Riku as gay, but I can understand why a lot of people do, and I can understand the perspective of, like, if that's how they see him, and I can kind of be like, I can see your point. I can see why you would see him that way. I personally don't, but, like, I can understand why people see him that way, and I can understand their viewpoint.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that was a big reason that I started doing these psychology videos, was like, so many people resonate with these characters on different levels and different ways, and I wanted to showcase and highlight that, because I think that's important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good way for people who don't quite have I don't want to say the means, but don't have the time to really do a deep dive or the knowledge of psychology to at least have a different perspective on the characters that they didn't have before, so that way they can then go through and apply that to their own interpretations of the characters to grow their own understanding. And also, it's good videos just to have on your second monitor while you play Minecraft. It's really good.
I will admit to using them as great background listening noise while I'm working on design. So
yeah. I, at this point, I don't think there's anyone that... I saw a couple people that would like eat it with their breakfast or eat it with dinner. But at this point, I feel like our the way that we take in entertainment and information is very much just like on the back end, right? Like we're doing
secondary.
Something.
Yeah.
So yeah, doesn't surprise me.
It was like, I challenge you to eating without YouTube, and it was like impossible. And it's like, oh, I hate how true this is. Like, we constantly need some sort of background noise to get through anything, and it's like, I don't know about everybody, but I certainly do. But
I don't know if you guys if you guys know Water Cage.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He did this video on the darknesses of, the foretellers, and how each one embodies like one of the 7 deadly sins.
Yeah, and that's also reflected in their names too.
Exactly right. And Venus is vanity, right? So like,
duh.
Very much like thinking,
I have to watch that. Yes.
All that.
Wait a minute. Okay, hold on. Because envy is envy. Which one of the foretellers is vanity? Or wait, no, vanity was.
Vanity was one of the original.
That's right. That's right. It was one of them. It got demoted, and I think it got replaced with.
Oh, did it? I don't know. That's just my first thought.
Demoted as a deadly sin.
Yeah. Yeah, because they're the 7 deadly sins have it changed over different iterations of things as time has went on.
I think it's anime now.
Also, I don't know if anybody knows this. Vanity is damn near similar to Vanitas, so that might just be what he represents.
I mean, it's like, you pointed out, and it's like, well, duh, yeah, obviously. It's like, why didn't I think of that?
I didn't think about it before.
That also actually makes me wonder, because what a lot of people don't know is that the 7 deadly sins have a counter. There's the 7 holy virtues, the 7 heavenly virtues, and we have 7 guardians of light, and I'm wondering now if maybe the 7 guardians of light are supposed to somehow represent those.
Who knows?
I don't really know. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
It's not the 7 guardians versus the 7 foretellers. I mean, that seems like balance right there.
Yeah, because that's always been something that's been interesting, is that we've had, the 13 lights, 7 darknesses, or flipped it, and now it's the 13 darknesses and the 7 lights. It's always been an uneven number to make up the 20. That's always been something interesting to me, is that there all this talk of balance, and everyone's math is off. No, there's no math in Kingdom Hearts. This is why Sora can't count.
I think that was actually partially an intentional thing, because the whole thing was Xehanort saying that the balance is off. And so if you have more darkness than light, you have 13 darknesses and 7 lights, and at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, Xehanort even mentions, like, the darkness is growing too powerfully, and I need to purge everything because there is too much. And I think a lot of that comes back to, like, with Baldur, when he decided I will become the scapegoat, when he realized the only way to defeat the darkness is to use the darkness, and then he was like, well, nobody else is strong enough to use it and not fall into what Baldur became, but he's like, my art is strong enough to withstand it, so I'll take that burden.
Which is also a very funny thing to look back of how, everyone puts so much importance upon Sora, but it's really Riku who has mastered that. Riku is the balance. He uses darkness and light. He took the road to dawn. He is that balance that everyone talks about wanting to seek. He cannot be possessed by the darkness. He can freely traverse through the darkness. He fights on the side of the light and everything. So he is the balance. He is Anakin Skywalker, and he didn't kill any kids.
He's the chosen one.
No, Terra is Anakin Skywalker.
Terra is Anakin Skywalker.
No, but I think Sora has that balance too, because we've seen in Kingdom Hearts 2 and 3, he's got anti-form and rage form, and even in Kingdom Hearts 1, we've seen Sora use the darkness when...
Yeah, he did turn into a shadow.
Yeah, he turned into a Heartless. In Kingdom Hearts 2, he has his anti-form. In Kingdom Hearts 3, he has his rage form. And I think Sora is becoming that balance. I think he's just down a different path. Like, Riku had to find that road to dawn. Yeah. Because he was in the darkness and he had to find the light. I almost think Sora's maybe the opposite, where he was in the light and he has to kind of find the dark.
Yeah, I think that would be a very interesting for them to take the series in a way of like, instead of the black and white light and darkness thing, which obviously, as we've seen the series grow, it's usually not that specific of a light and darkness. It's not that easy, but it would be very interesting to see the Warriors of Light and everything like that evolve up to become, fighting for both sides of actually using a balance, not like how Xehanort looked at it, not like how Ericus looked at it.
Well, I think part of it goes back to actually what Bio was saying about Sora with, like, yeah, I know.
Sorry. I have this stupid vocal stim. I don't know if you guys know the cat. that goes, huh?
Oh, yeah.
I literally can't stop doing it. I'm so sorry.
No, it's funny.
I think part of it.
We love memes.
I think part of it ties back to what you were saying about Sora relies too much on his friends. Because when I say Sora has to find the dark, it's almost like the opposite arc that Riku went through. Riku was in Kingdom Hearts 1. He was, I'm going to do everything myself. I don't need you. He literally told Sora, he was like, I don't need you anymore. I have the darkness now. But, Riku kind of finds his friends. He learns to work with others, with Sora, with Kairi, with Mickey, with the other Guardians of Light. And I think Sora, it's almost like the opposite. He's depended so much on having everybody else with him. Now he's alone. Yeah. And he kind of has to find the darkness in the sense that he has to find the power in himself now, which is more of a selfish, I have to find my strength. I have to be powerful on my own. I can't always rely on everybody else. I have to be strong for myself. I don't know. Maybe I'm misinterpreting it. That was what I was thinking.
If there's one thing that I'll give Chain of Memories credit for, it's how well they executed Riku's story. It's a lot faster than Chain of Memories, but that's also because Riku didn't make any genuine bonds on the journey before. It was just him on his own, and it really just shows like when he's in his quote-unquote right mind, like he's no longer like doing things on his own. He has time to reflect on these moments where he could have had something more than what he chose. And I would actually think it would be cool if Sora went through something similar, where he was put through a reflection of his previous adventures. Not like, kind of like Chain of Memories, but there's no real interactions. It's just him as watching in the sidelines. Something that reflects Riku's ascent from darkness to like Sora's descent into darkness.
Yeah.
Well,
if that makes sense.
Well, didn't Sora kind of go through that in Kingdom Hearts 3 in the final world when he had to put himself back together? I mean, not to the extent that you're talking about, but I think that was sort of part of the implication, was Sora kind of has to find himself in that.
Kinda, yeah. The way I saw it was like a moment of reprieve for him to like really figure out who he is, what he wants, etc. Like literally, like it was mentioned before, putting himself back together. But think about it, like he has a perfect view of himself now that he's put himself together. But what if he had to disassemble himself and put himself together in a different manner?
Does he have a perfect vision of himself? I think if anything, he's questioning everything right now.
Well, probably not. Like he's still pretty young. He's got a lot of thinking ahead of him.
Well, I think now he's questioning a whole lot more. Like, am I even real? I mean, he just ran into somebody who he thought was a video game character.
They might do something like that in 4. You never know. We haven't seen anything for 4 in so long.
Over 2 years. It'll happen when it happens. That's all I can say at this point.
Yeah.
We're missing him soon.
Yeah, no use to stressing about it.
We are at over an hour now, by the way, so.
Dang.
Yeah.
Thank you, timekeeper.
Yeah.
Well, I guess before we wrap up, I wanted to ask Bio, is there like anything else you wanted to cover about like how you do your psychology breakdowns, or just about Kingdom Hearts and the psychology of Kingdom Hearts as a series in general? Was there anything else that you wanted to mention, or
did we talk about it? I feel like we like kind of like didn't get to talk about it yet.
No, we did and we didn't, but that's what the podcast is.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Guiding Keys, where nothing guides us.
We follow our hearts.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, I guess my question then would be, because Kingdom Hearts as a series, you know, you've been able to do breakdowns of Sora, Riku, Aqua. I know you've got Terra coming.
I'm so excited for Terra. I hope people enjoy them. I'm really excited for the Terra video. It's done.
It'll more than likely be out by the time this is out.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Go watch it.
Yeah, go watch it now. If you watched it already, watch it again.
Yeah.
But you know, I guess my question is more so just how do you see like the psychology of the Kingdom Hearts series as a whole? Like, if there was like an overarching theme of all of the characters or the whole series, kind of what is like the central like,
connection and identity, I think, are the two like biggest things. Through most of the characters that I that I've like covered already, like almost always it revolves around identity. It's either identity and, you know, the actions I take, the friends that I have, the power that I have. It's always just about like, who am I? And I think that's like a very powerful message. Because a lot of times they realize like, oh, it's not about like the things that I do or like the people that I am connected to, right? It's about like, well, no. I think it's more so about like the people that they're connected to. So I don't know. Yeah, connection and identity is my takeaway.
Do you think, because you say that, and then I think of Cloud, Final Fantasy VII. Do you think a lot of that bled over into making Kingdom Hearts? Do you think like a lot of that psychology of how Cloud struggles with his own identity? You think like there's some
yeah, I can see that. I think that like Nomura, and again, I don't know how much creative control Nomura has at this point, if he's like even writing the series. Yeah. For the most part, but it seems like a lot of themes from Final Fantasy VII, and even like Versus 13 and Final Fantasy 15. Like I think that has a lot to do with identity too, right? Like you have this prince who is supposed to be, you know, like the next king, and he loses himself, right? Like he has to go on this whole journey of like, who is he? Like what role does he play in the kingdom? And so, yeah, I think, I don't know, like maybe, I think a lot of times we tend to put a lot of ourselves into our work. And so maybe like a big thing for Nomura is identity. Like, I don't know. I'd love to sit down and ask him one day.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't worry. He'll be on the podcast next. Yeah. Yeah, probably.
I just, because you make a good point with the whole connection thing, and you're right, it is an overarching theme in the whole Kingdom Hearts series. And I also wonder too, does that tie in, you think, with the Disney aspect of like Disney's always trying to be about, well, maybe not so much recently now with what Pixar said, but they've always tried to be about, you know, giving people a voice. Well, you know, the whole thing with, I forget his name, but he was like, we need more broadly appealing things and not like so personal stories.
Oh.
Yeah, and I was kind of like, what? Like, what do you mean? But
yeah, I don't know too much about it. Honestly, I'm not very much like I watched Disney growing up. I don't know much about Disney, if I'm being honest. Cage Guides would be a good person to ask. I feel like he knows everything about Disney.
Oh, we'd love to have him on at some point.
Oh, he's great. I love him.
It's on the ever-growing to-do list.
Yeah.
And we've got like a list of people who want to come on and who we want to bring on. So Guides is on there somewhere.
Glad to hear that.
But yeah, I think I don't know. And I mean, all of this led me to just thinking we've got to have Inside Out at some point.
Oh yeah, no, I've been such a big proponent. Like,
no, well, not to get into like spoiler territory, but we kind of talked a little bit about like the identity in the series, and that is kind of a theme in Inside Out 2. I just saw that last week.
My wife just watched that. I was so jealous.
Yeah.
My sister wanted for friends, and I was like, "You watched it without me?"
Yeah, my sisters just saw it, and I didn't get to go, and I was like, I wanted to see that.
Yeah,
So, hopefully, I get to see it at some point soon.
I can't remember the last time I just went out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, it's been a while since I've gone to see a movie. I used to do that like all the time.
I think the last movie I physically went and watched was probably the first Sonic movie before the pandemic, and then I haven't been back to the theater since.
Oof, it's been a while. I think the last movie I went to go see in theater was Dune 2. So it wasn't like that long ago, but at the same time, it's like I used to go to movies like every other week.
To be fair, you went for the popcorn box anyway. So.
I was gonna say that's the only thing I know about Dune is that fucking like flashlight.
Yeah, that's the only thing I know too.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking with that one. I really don't.
Anyways,
I don't know how that cleared like every single marketing executive. Like nobody looked at that and went like, guys, this is looking a little, are we sure about this? Oh, man. But yeah, I think connection, you're right. I think a lot of it's about connection, friendship, and kind of just the experiences that we accumulate by going on these adventures or just spending time with the people that we care about, especially because, oh man, now I think about it, like Chain of Memories is really heavy on like your memories of your friends are almost the realest thing about them, and then
that's why I bring up like identity too, right? Because like Sora loses essentially like a part of himself when he loses all his memories. And he becomes like almost someone like not completely different, but he becomes someone pretty different.
Yeah, well, and then if you think about it, like all the fake memories of Naminé, like to him, all of a sudden they're real. Like all that time spent with Naminé is real to him, but it never happened. I guess it just goes to show like how much our memory of certain people and certain events really plays into like how we see them as people. Because it's like, yeah, at the end of the day, our friends to us are how we remember them, how we see them. I don't know. I just find that interesting. It's like, man, that Chain of Memories is deep.
I love Chain of Memories and Coded are like my two faves. They're so good.
I could never get into Coded. I'm so sorry.
So interesting. I don't want to. This is another thing I never got to.
That's a crime.
But this idea that like Coded, like all of like the people that use computers in Kingdom Hearts are Ansem the Wise and Xehanort, because Xehanort uses like all the data recreations of the organization to like test things, but also like there's something else that he does. But every iteration of those worlds, right? Like Coded, there's another like data. Oh, the Union Cross.
Yeah.
They all like the reason that Xehanort like thinks that Destiny has never left a chance is because he's like run through all these simulations, and has seen them happen again and again. And the only time that things change, or that things don't follow Destiny, is when Sora's involved, right? When they make the journal Sora. Like the reason that the bugs go out of control in the first place is because of Sora's Heartless, but then also like everything changes because of Data Sora. And so it's like he's literally like this virus in the system.
No, but that's actually really interesting too, because now I'm thinking about like, you're right, Xehanort is kind of all about like, I have to calculate everything, I have to like see the outcome of everything. And we know of another character who's the same way, who's like, I've seen the outcome of everything, I know how this is going to end, and there's no way to change it. And that's the Master of Masters, the new villain that we're coming up on. And it's like, okay, wait a minute, that's interesting. Especially if you watch our very first episode about the theory of the Master of Masters and how he is essentially a incarnation of the player from a previous world line of the Union Cross timeline, and he has gone back and tried to stop the Keyblade War countless times, has failed every single time, and has seen only one outcome that works, and it's the one that he's playing through. That was kind of our theory, but even then, like, I think about how the Master of Masters, he says to the other foretellers, like, no, there's no way to stop what's coming. There's no other way to do this. I've run through every possible outcome, and this is it. Like, almost like Doctor Strange, like, I've seen every possible outcome, and this is the only one where we win. And Xehanort kind of is the same with his whole Destiny's Never Left to Chance, but then Sora kind of is the wrench in that he is the unpredictable element. He is the one thing that he can't account for.
Yeah.
I wonder then, will that same nature of Sora being the wrench, essentially, somehow be what undoes the Master of Masters? Or was he able to account for even that? Because we know about the whole prophecy of the Child of Destiny, so he knows about Sora. I don't know. Now I'm actually like, I'm actually going into like, wait, what?
So for the next episode, that's us. No. But yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Coded does go into a lot of the a lot of psychology stuff, and I feel bad for not being able to really get into Coded. Like, I've tried to play Recoded, and I just couldn't get into it. And admittedly, I did watch the 2.5.
I don't think the actual gameplay is what you need. Like, I think why I said Code isn't important is because like the precedence that it sets, not so much like the story.
Yeah, I watched the 2.5 movie, and my favorite thing about that was just that it explained what the hell was going on in Dream Drop Distance, because I played that before I played Coded. And it was when I was still fairly new to the series when I played Dream Drop Distance, and I was so like, what the hell is going on? I mean, obviously I understand it now. But, yeah, I played Dream Drop Distance when I was in middle school. Oh my god, that game is... time flies.
Speaking of time,
yeah, we're now like an hour and 20 minutes in. Think about that. Sorry, I wanted to at least try to touch on the intended topic.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
I set aside like 2 hours, so you're fine.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, we've had longer episodes. We can keep going.
Oh, yeah.
It's up to everybody if y'all want to stick around or not. You know, we can keep going.
Unfortunately for me, I have some stuff I gotta do immediately after this stream or podcast or thingy.
Yeah, surprise. We're actually
streaming. We're not
live.
No, this is pre-recorded.
Yeah.
I used to stream. That's why I say that. I'm just used to it.
But yeah, you bring up really good points that I hadn't even really thought of about like how Coded is more important than I give it credit for.
Yeah. If only I didn't work a full-time job and have family, maybe I'd be unstoppable. I have so many theories out.
Damn that
Darn IRL obligations.
Stupid thing called responsibilities.
Yeah, if you didn't have work and family and everything, you just infinite caffeine, you steamroll us all.
I would be unstoppable if only I had unlimited time.
Exactly.
Too real. But yeah, on that note, Bio, please explain why plain donuts.
Back to the original.
It's an open canvas. What do you mean?
But if you put something on it, it's not plain anymore.
I'm not going to put something on it, but it's the idea. It's the potential.
It's the concept.
And the glazed is that potential.
All right, no.
Glaze your donuts, everybody.
No.
Look, we need to start a test over this.
Leave in the comments, guys. # Team Plain or Team Glazed. We gotta see something. We gotta see something. No, but in all seriousness, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
This has been the Guiding Keys podcast, and it has been just as chaotic and unpredictable and erratic as always. Thank you all for watching. May your heart be your guiding key. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Dun da da dun! Hi there. It's your trusty Chirithy, here to remind you to like, comment, and share this podcast with all your friends. Please remember to subscribe to the Keyblade Forge, join the Discord server, and visit the merch store at www.keybladeforge.com. Don't forget, your friends are your power, so make sure to pass this along. Until next time, may your heart be your guiding key.